And shout out again to all those people who hate my guts, but is sitting in a quiet place listening to my show. You are obsessed and sick, okay? Okay, I'll be right back. Let's get into something else.
Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Ebony. Alright you guys, we have several topics to discuss in this video. The first topic is none other than the ESPN correspondent known as Stephen A. Smith coming out to compare Beyonce to Rihanna. Why doesn't he just stick to sports? Now during his segment, he was basically talking about the Super Bowl performance, and he made a comment that Rihanna is no Beyonce. Check it out.
Are you excited for this halftime show?
I don't want to say I'm not excited. She's fantastic. That's not where I'm going with this.
Okay, where you going?
Ladies and gentlemen, she's a lot of things. She's spectacular, actually.
Yes.
And congratulations on new mamahood.
Yes.
There's one thing she's not.
Uh-huh.
She ain't Beyonce.
It really be the black men that be starting these ludicrous conversations. Why are we even comparing these two? Rihanna's return to music and her Super Bowl performance has nothing to do with Beyonce. But I just think that at this point, people say anything and everything, right, to get that click and get that view. Look, you guys, there is no doubt that Beyonce and Rihanna have been compared most of their careers. And there has been a strategic effort to get both of these beautiful women to fight, right, or to be at odds. Every time one of them would say something in an interview or say something to each other, it was, oh, that's shade. Oh, they really don't like each other. And no matter how hard the media or even fans sometimes tried to pin these two women against each other, it never worked. And so I just thought it was out of pocket for Stephen A. Smith to say anything of this nature. And you guys will let me know what you think about it down below. All right, you guys, let's go on to the next topic, which is none other than Tory Lanez's new attorney, Jose Baez, wondering why he came in so late. Also saying that if he was representing Tory, he would be a free man. And also having the confidence to even suggest that he could get this conviction overturned in appeal. Talk about confidence, right? Now to give you guys a little quick synopsis, you know that Tory Lanez was convicted of popping Megan Thee Stallion in a July 2021 incident. Now, Tory Lanez was found guilty on all three charges. And unfortunately, Mr. Lanez is facing 20 years in prison. Now, during this time, Tory Lanez did let go of his family attorney who goes by McGesson. Now, he is now working with what we know as Jose Baez, who not only got Casey Anthony acquitted, but also Aaron Hernandez in his double murder trial. Now, along with Mr. Baez, Tory Lanez has also hired Suge Knight's former attorney, who goes by David, and also a man that goes by Matthew, who specializes in overturning conviction and wrongful prosecution. So it does seem that Tory Lanez has three huge heavy hitters. And Jose Baez sat down with TMZ to let Harvey know how he feels about the case, and his confidence was over the roof. Check it out.
I'm just curious if you'd had any earlier conversation and he wanted you for the trial and you just weren't available, or was this your first conversation?
I could never comment on something like that, but I will tell you, looking at this case, I certainly wish I had come in sooner as opposed to later. And unfortunately, this is the way it is. But he's got me now, and I'm certainly willing to give him everything I have. Sure. Well, you know, as you may know, Tory has never been convicted of a crime, and he has never had to deal with the circumstances that he's dealing with. So the adjustment that he's going through is one of, you know, it's new to him. So he's really, to his credit, he's listening to his lawyers. He's an incredibly articulate young man, and in all of that, he certainly, there are things that certainly in the trial he wished had gone the other way. So I guess to answer your question quickly and briefly, it would be yes. But he's trying his best to adjust to everything. And in light of the fact that he's never been in this situation before, it's really a tough process to go through.
Is there something that happened in this trial that you think would warrant an appellate court throwing out the conviction?
Well, I haven't even made an appearance yet, so I don't think it's proper for me to comment on the evidence, but I will say this much. There's mistakes in trials all of the time. It's a human system. It's going to produce errors regardless. Now, when you have a high-profile case, there's a lot more things to worry about. A lot more things for the judiciary to worry about, a lot more things for the defense lawyers to worry about, a lot more things for the prosecution to worry about. So all players are now playing with additional work and need to be protecting those safeguards to ensure that there's a fair trial to begin with. And I have to tell you, 9 out of 10 times we get it wrong. So I would say that there's probably a significant chance that there are numerous errors that are within the system and within this case that should be explored and see if perhaps the results would have been different.
So as you guys see, Jose Baez is pretty much not commenting on the evidence, but he's saying, look, in trials, there's always a mistake because it's a human system. So it does seem that he's going to be studying the law to see if anything in this case violated Tory Lanez's rights, or if there's anything in this case that could potentially lead the appellate court to believe that the trial was not fair. So what does that even mean? What do you have to prove to even get an appeal? And what are some of the circumstances where an appeal is actually granted? I'm going to break down a couple topics for you guys, and then you guys can obviously make your own decision. All right, you guys. So we are going to be reading from the legal dictionary because I want to make sure that I'm just repeating what they are saying because I'm no lawyer and you guys can kind of study it for yourself. So what's the first step? Well, that's the notice of appeal. The first step in appealing a criminal case is filing a notice of appeal. This notice is filed in the Superior Court that heard the case. So this would be in the Los Angeles court where Tory did stand trial. There is no fee for criminal appeals. Once the notice is received, the court clerk prepares the record, including requesting transcripts, and forwards it to the Court of Appeals. Now, the reason that this is so important is because you guys remember that during Tory Lanez's impromptu court hearing, this is where we saw David Kenner, his new attorney, request the transcripts from the court. He needed all the transcripts in order to file what we call the opening brief, okay? Now, the appellate clerk puts the case on a docket and notifies all the people that are involved. So this would be the prosecutor, Tory's attorney, and also Tory himself. The notice also tells the appellant when the opening brief is due. So, for example, the clerk is going to let everybody know that the appeal and the court date has been set, and this is when their argument is due. So what is the opening brief? Well, the opening brief tells the court what went wrong in the trial court. The first section summarizes the proceeding in lower court, including what the original charges were and the final decision, okay, or verdict on each charge. The second part contains a statement of the relevant facts. This is where the appellant tells the judges what information they need before reading and applying the arguments. Now, finally, the appellant lists the legal mistakes that occurred in the trial, and this is where Tory and his team explains why the conviction should be overturned. Now, the appellant has about 40 days from the date the record is received by the Court of Appeals to file their opening brief. They may request a 30-day extension, which is frequently granted. Once their opening brief is received, the state has time to file an opposing argument. This document summarizes the reason the states believe that the conviction should be upheld. The appellate then gets to file a reply brief to address issues not mentioned in the opening brief. So this is kind of interesting, right? So Tory's team gets to provide their opening brief. They get to wait for the prosecutor to reply. Then Tory's team gets to reply again, and they can even add more reasons why this conviction should be overturned. Now, the thing is, you guys, is this takes so long. And after we do the opening brief, this is where we get to what we call the oral argument. Now, the oral argument can be scheduled a few months after the briefs. Usually only the lawyers appear, and the argument itself is brief. Usually the argument is only 15 minutes and sometimes less than that. Now, although this is one way to appeal or have a case overturned, there is also something that we called the petition for writ of habeas corpus. Now, what is that? Now, Penal Code 1473 allows allows a prisoner to seek relief when he is being wrongfully detained. There are many different reasons for seeking a writ, but writs are commonly requested when false evidence was introduced against the prisoner at trial, or when the prisoner incorrectly relied on false evidence and entered a guilty plea. Newly discovered evidence could also be a reason for seeking relief. Now, you guys, what could be the new evidence that could get Tory to seek relief to get the case overturned? Well, let's talk about the, witness statement from the driver, Quan. Now, if Quan comes out and contradicts everything that Kelsey says and corroborates what Tory Lanez says happened, well, that's new evidence. And that could lead an appellate court to believe that there are grounds, for an overturned verdict. But not so fast. We also have to remember that Tory's team made the decision not to call Quan. So they made that decision. Obviously, they made that decision in just due, right? Because they felt that the jury should not have to wait another week for the prosecution to interview this witness, and the holidays are right around the corner. So we're in two weird spots, right? The prosecution has an argument, well, you could have called this witness. You decided not to. Tory can say, well, I was directed under my attorney not to do this. I didn't know the ramifications of not having this person come and testify on my behalf. So there's a lot of legal, wiggle room in here. And I don't know, you guys, Jose Baez seems very confident, but at the same time, the verdict, right? A verdict is extremely hard to overturn. The new evidence, right, has to be so significant that it would have likely changed the verdict or the outcome of the trial. But there's also those legal ramifications where Tory can say, my First Amendment right was violated. I didn't even get a chance to speak. The general public got to hear Megan's side over and over and over again. How do we know that any of these jurors weren't tainted by Megan's interview, right? So there are so many different legal aspects. I do feel sorry for Megan in a way, though, that she has to relive this over and over again. But at the same time, if Tory Lanez believes in his heart that he did not do it, it doesn't matter what phone call we hear. It doesn't matter what people think personally. He's obviously going to keep fighting until he is released. And let's be clear, Tory's never been convicted of a crime. So I'm sure this entire situation is very hard for him. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and move on to the last topic, which is none other than Nicki Minaj surpassing Lauryn Hill. The famous song Doo-Wop. Super Freaky Girl has just taken that crown, and are we surprised? Now, Nicki Minaj's Super Freaky Girl is officially the longest running solo #1 debut by a female rapper in history, surpassing Miss Lauryn Hill's Doo-Wop. That thing, 22 weeks. So Nicki Minaj is still on the Hot 100. Most recently, chart data did report that she is currently at number 20 with a -2. So Nicki Minaj is killing it, not surpassing Lauryn Hill. See, I see why y'all really mad, because Nicki is really not breaking a sweat, and she is still running female rap. Well, I mean, let's be very clear. There's always next year. What did Nicki say? I gave these B words 2 years. Now your time's up. Bless her heart, she's throwing shots, but every line sucks. I know y'all mad too. I could just see y'all haters who are listening to my video. Y'all just in y'all room right now quietly because you know you love me, and you just scratching your leg because you just so upset. Anyways, you guys, let me know what you think about these topics down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Give this video a big thumbs up because you love me. I accept thumbs down too. All engagement is good. And let me know what you think about this. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll talk very soon. And I love you guys like always. Bye.